Are you ready for this one? If so, buckle up, because this is the Halloween episode of Grave Endeavors. I chose a particularly eerie location for this episode. I'm in the Erie Cemetery in Erie, Pennsylvania. What makes this cemetery stand out more than others that lets it be deemed worthy enough to be the Halloween episode? Could it be that there's vampires here and witches? Well, rise from your graves, young zombies and vampires, because I'm gonna show you. Erie Cemetery was dedicated in 1851. It was the voice of the citizens that actually caused this to be erected. They wanted a suitable place for all to be buried. This is all due in part to the rapid growth of the rural cemetery movement. Over 50,000 residents are interred here. That might not seem like a big number compared to some other cemeteries in the world, but burials are still taking place here to this day. They're dying to get in. Yeah? No? Okay. The entire property itself is 75 acres, and it's become a recreational asset to the people who live here. So while those seem like seemingly normal stats for any cemetery, it's what lies within the gates that actually sends chills down your spine. What lies at this beautiful mausoleum here? While you might not expect too much from a mausoleum like this, it does hold something that you wouldn't find at any other mausoleum. Probably ever. No, it's not what's inside, and it's not what's outside either. It's actually a story tied to this mausoleum that involves detectives and creepy threatening letters and extortion. So, let's run it back. On February 8th, 1911. Oh, that's pretty good. February 8th? That's my birthday. Not in 1911, 1984. Because if I was born in 1911, I'd probably be dead by now. Yeah, so like 1911, I wouldn't even be alive to be 2011. That's 100 years. Technically, I guess if I was born in 1984, I won't live to see 2084. Wow. I just bummed myself out. Anyway, on February 8th, 1911, something truly diabolical took place here. Someone broke into the Scott Mausoleum and they ransacked the place. William Scott was a very wealthy man and his body was pretty disturbed. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. No? Alright. The body of his sister-in-law, Mrs. McCollum, was stolen from this mausoleum, and several other crypts were badly damaged and ransacked. It looked like somebody actually chiseled through the copper plates that held the caskets, and then completely demolished some of the other caskets in the process. Annie Strong telephoned a detective agency in Pittsburgh, who had helped her husband, Mr. Strong, in the past on a previous case, and asked them to come jump on this immediately. So they did. The Perkins Detective Agency arrived on February 10th right here in Erie, and they stayed in the Reed House during their tenure here. They jumped on the case like that, bringing in bloodhounds from Indiana and hiring 10 other people to help them on this case. There was information spread out by these detectives that the body that was stolen from the mausoleum was found in another mausoleum. and that Mrs. McCullum and Mrs. Scott were the only bodies that were taken out and robbed. Unfortunately, the information that was being put out wasn't true at all. It was discovered that Mr. Franklin had previously been a private detective here in Erie. His license had been revoked. It was recommended that Mrs. Strong remove Mr. Franklin from the case. This was on top of the fact that the trustee of the estate also hired a private detective agency. Those detectives refused to work with Mr. Perkins and Mr. Franklin because they were on the verge of losing their deal with the Strongs. It was then that Mr. Perkins concocted a plan to instill fear and extort money from the Strong family. He told Mrs. Strong that she was in the hands of desperate men, she was in danger and had enemies. This was all part of his plan to extort money from them. So on the night of February 11th, a bullet was fired through Mr. Strong's office window. On February 13th, Mr. Strong received the first of 2 letters that would be sent to him. The chief of police would also receive a letter on February 23rd. The first letter received on February 13th reads as follows. Mr. Strong, leave $50,000 at 31st and Pennsylvania Avenue on night of February 29 at 12 p.m. or you will have your mausoleum blown up. And if you bring any police on 29th of February, my men will shoot them. P.S. or your bouse will be blown up. Black Hand. And the letter that they received on February 15th reads as follows. C. Strong, you leave $50,000 at 11 p.m. February 28, 1911 at 31st and Pennsylvania Avenue, or you will have your brains blowed out. Either you or your wife. If you bring any police along, they will be shot and my men will take a strong battle. You son of a bee. Black Hand. Death. And the chief of police received a letter as well on February 23rd that read as follows. Chief of Police, don't you dare to send any police to 31st Pennsylvania Avenue on night of February 28th at 11 p.m. As your men and middlemen will have a pitched battle. We demanded $50,000 from Strong's. Black Hand. Death. Before Mrs. Strong even received the first letter, Mr. Perkins asked her if she had received any threatening letters. She said no. He said, you will have them. When she finally received the first letter, Mr. Perkins asked her if she had noticed how the paper was torn, and that he assumed she would receive a second letter that would fit perfectly into where that paper was torn, to prove that this was the same people and that they meant business. Mr. Perkins then visited the Strong secretary and the postmaster of Erie to inform them that more letters would probably be coming and be put on alert in order to try to track down where these mailings were coming from. The U.S. postal authorities investigated the case and looked into who wrote the letters, and upon their investigation, immediately ordered the arrest of Mr. Franklin and Mr. Perkins in Philadelphia on April 13th. Mr. Franklin was ordered to rewrite and copy the letters written by the Black Hand in both pencil and ink. It was upon doing this that he was arrested because they found that he was the one who wrote the letters. Perkins and Franklin would go on to deny any involvement in the writing or mailing of the letters. They denied ever having any knowledge of them. In fact, Mr. Perkins even denied making any statements to the postmaster at all. A 10-day trial ended on July 29, 1911, and found both Mr. Perkins and Mr. Franklin guilty. They appealed and were denied. It still remains a mystery who actually ransacked the mausoleum. Did they do it themselves? Did they hire somebody? Or did they even have any involvement at all? Maybe they were just taking advantage of the situation. Truth is, we'll probably never know. And here's looking at you, kid. Take off your fedora and trench coat, because you won't need it from here on. These next graves are gonna chill you to the bone. Another mausoleum? What lies in here? Another mystery of grave robbers and defilers? Or something deeper? darker, more primal. A vampire, perhaps? What lies inside here? Supposedly, the body of a Romanian businessman, who may also be a vampire. He was supposedly interred here in the 1880s after he died of consumption. Maybe I should hold my jokes. As it's said, many mysterious deaths surround this crypt. And maybe something that contributes to the lore is the fact that there are no names etched into this mausoleum. All that resides here is a V above the doorway. So, why no name? As it's said in vampire lore, a vampire would normally not give out their name, as that would give someone power over them. It's said that after the body was interred to this crypt, that body started turning up in the area with all the classic signs of vampirism. Bites to the neck, being drained of blood. There's also the tale of a boy who had broken into the crypt, and to prove to his friends that he actually did it, he stole a ring off the corpse that laid inside. Unfortunately for him, he was found dead that night in his bed, with his ring finger ripped from his hand. Oh no, sweetheart. No, you don't. You don't go taking things from the dead. They will find you. They will take it back. They will do it. So, don't do that. But I guess you could say he at least gave that vampire the finger. It's also said that a group of rambunctious boys came here one night, and one of them climbed to the roof of the mausoleum and attempted to set it on fire. There are actually still scorch marks visible on the mausoleum today. But it didn't work because, as the tale goes, a mysterious force threw him from the roof, and he fell to his death on the stone steps below. Like, literally. He got yeeted by a vampire. Like Dracula just came out and yeeted a kid off the roof. He was like, blah, blah, and the kid just dead right there. Like, I'd hate to have my life story end like I got yeeted by Dracula off the roof of a mausoleum.
Because the last thing I would ever do is want to get yeeted off a roof of a vampire mausoleum by a Romanian vampire who's been here since the 1880s and ain't done shit else.
There are other legends tied to this mausoleum, such as satanic rituals, summonings of Satan, and death to anyone who dare disrespect this mausoleum or whatever resides inside. If you see this episode, I made it. Like, what if someone actually summoned the devil? And the devil got up on the roof of the mausoleum and was doing his power over your domain type spiel. And like this Romanian vampire like just came out, yeeted the devil off the roof. Like just straight up yeeted the devil. Like that'd be hella funny. The actual name of this mausoleum is the Brown Mausoleum, which is strange because there are no Browns buried here. Resist the urge to make a poop joke. This is so serious, just don't make a poop joke. In reality, there are 7 bodies interred here, all with the last name Goodrich, the last of which was placed inside in 1880. So why the strange V on the door? Could this legend hold some truth? I won't be the one to find out. Nope, ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't gonna be the dude that gets yeeted off a roof by Dracula while trying to fight the devil for a golden fiddle. I ain't the one, honey. Before we continue on to the next grave, I need to tell you a very quick and strange story that happened to me while I was in the Erie cemetery. I was flying my drone Spirit 1 to get some aerial footage of the cemetery when suddenly I lost control of the drone and could no longer control it. It was swept away and thrown into a very tall tree. It fell to the ground, yet it survived. It was still able to fly. This was shortly after I'd already filmed the segment at the vampire crypt. I needed to go back to the vampire crypt to get some drone shots. So I went back to film at the vampire crypt. While flying over and around the crypt, I moved the drone over to a stationary position, hovering at the top of a hill with nothing around it. No trees, no bushes, no gravestones. When out of nowhere, the drone flew out of the air, did a barrel roll, and spiked into the ground. It looked to my eyes like something had grabbed the drone out of the air and threw it at the ground. This destroyed my drone. It's been broken since, and I haven't had the money to replace it. But my jaw dropped at the moment this happened, and I wish I had that on film, but at least the footage from the drone was saved, so you can actually see as it happened. As a paranormal investigator, one thing that lets me know there may be some bad juju present is that there's a presence of limestone. Because limestone has the properties of recording supposedly. It can capture energy of the living and play it back like a tape recorder. Or it can capture the energy of the dead and trap them where they are. So on our final Halloween stop, I ask you to join me, enter the Witch's Circle of Erie, Pennsylvania. Here you'll find a circle of limestone graves sitting under a tree that looms just over it. Nothing strange yet, right? Let's look closer. Some of them look to be blackened and scorched. So are people just setting gravestones and mausoleums on fire in Erie, Pennsylvania? Or is there something more to this? Legends say that in the 1800s, Erie was the home to a coven of witches. Two of the coven leaders passed away and were supposedly buried right here. Satan returned to claim his servants, and the fires of hell scorched and burned these gravestones. And the burns can still be seen to this day. I wonder if that was before Satan got yeeted off the mausoleum roof, or was it after? Did I mention limestone recording properties and what that means to a paranormal investigator? Well, apparently there's some paranormal claims that come along with this witch's circle. People have said you can hear footsteps coming up behind you even when you're alone out here. Although, it's grass. So what footsteps are you actually hearing? It's nothing like clop, clop, thud, or maybe snap some twigs. I don't know. You guys hearing footsteps in the circle? People have also said they've seen a rabid black dog that runs at them and vanishes just before biting them. I would freak my shit. If a fucking dog just ran up on me, living or dead. I'ma freak out. If he disappears, I'ma be relieved. And a little freaked out still. But mostly relieved, cause I didn't get bit. Cause fuck that. Doesn't help that you have a gravestone-eating tree right here. Just look at it. Nom nom nomming away on that gravestone. Delicious. If all this claims to take place in the center of the witch's circle, then I'm going in. I hope I don't get yeeted. Or yeeted.
Alright, so I'm sitting in the middle of the witch's circle by myself. See if anything happens. Really pretty day. It was really windy, man. Kind of stormy. It really rained. Killed my drone though. Hey. I've crashed that drone so many times. This one really broke my heart. I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel nothing. What we play with the stick? Abba Kadabra. I'm a witch too. Lumos. No. Okay. You gonna say I can't be a witch because I'm a man? Well, let me spread some history on you. Men were known as witches too. Yeah, it's true. They didn't start calling men warlocks and wizards until, like, bewitched. Or that, witch was just used for both genders. Lumos. Abacadabra. No? I think those spells are a bit too modern for you. Oh, I hear a disembodied motorcycle. And that just be it all. You know how much you get paid to trim trees at a cemetery? These branches are pretty dangerous. The most dangerous thing that could happen to me in the circle is one of these branches fall on me. Think witches could do that? Oh, what if a witch could, like, break a tree branch off and they fall on me? Yeah, probably not. Well, I'm going to leave the witches circle now. I don't really feel like anything happened. Maybe they're off today. Maybe it's their day off. All witches have to have a day off. Actually, hold on. I smell something. A weird smell, actually. Probably me. Most likely me. Alright, I'm out of here. What happened, guys? Nothing.
Well, that wraps it up for our Halloween episode. I hope you enjoyed everything that we learned here, and I hope you get some sleep tonight and don't have any nightmares. So turn down the lights and crawl into bed. Pull up your covers and rest your head. Drift away to sleep because it's all you ever needed. Embrace visions of Satan that Dracula yeeted. And for all the graves that remain yet to be seen, from Scary Gary to you, Happy Halloween! Let's go see what else we can dig up.
The body of his sister-in-law.
You big fucking bitch! Fucking bitch should have got stolen. They did. That don't move.
I chose an absolutely fucking stop doing it. It houses a beautiful chapel. Chappelle, not Dave. A vampire, perhaps? You're damn right. Now come on down. There's here and witches. It could be, but that's probably not actually what it is. So you probably want to go watch something else because there's nothing like that here. So what lies within the gates of the cemetery that completely crashed and destroyed my drone? Check out this footage of the drone falling from its sky. Don't worry, it still flies with 2 broken legs, DJI, very good buildings. It still remains a mystery who actually ransacked the mausoleum. Did they do it themselves? Did they hire someone? Or were they involved at all?
Wait, you gotta do it again. Yeah. My flippies are in the shot.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
You do like that pose.
This was all in part due to the rapid This was all in part to the rapidly increasing rural. I can't say that. Rural. Wow, I actually found a word I can't say.
You know you have southern roots when rural is rural.
This was all due in part to the rapid fucking God. I keep getting scared that word's coming up. What a dumbass.
Just apologize to him.
I chose an absolutely spooky location for the wind to fuck up all my audio. And while those are seemingly normal stats for a cemetery like this, the wind will fuck me. It's hate you. I just want to do this and go. That seagull, it's flying like my drone did. It's trying to go straight, but it's going sideways. It's really windy up there.
This seemingly mundane and normal is not mundane or normal at all. Okay, let me change how I wrote this script, 'cause I didn't know what it was going to be like in person. And here comes that car again.
This massive,
I was perfect.
ornate monument.
Stupid bee. Hold on.
Hey, I have to ask. You're the man I see on TV for the shows for the ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I knew it. When we passed you, I said, "Oh my gosh, that's the man on TV with the ghost."
Yep.
I watch you.
Oh, do you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so you came to Erie to the cemetery because it's haunted.
Yep, and we're actually passing up to the Hinsdale House and Wildwood Sanatorium
Okay.
up near
Yeah, we're on
Buffalo.
our way to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Listen to visit
Mhm.
her brother. She always brings us 50 wings.
Yes.
We'll keep making them. You keep watching them.
I will.
Yep.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You made my day.
Yeah.
God.
Want a picture or something?
No.
No? Okay.
All right. Have a good one. She thinks you're Zach Bacon.
She's gonna go home and tell all her friends.
They're gonna be like, that wasn't Zach Bacon.
Were you filming that whole time?
I was.
I got the audio over here.
I don't know how much I got of her.
Now we have
I had it right.
nice little bloopers.
I had it like this, so I think it did get her. So